This is a horrible, horrible example of um, trying to prove an atheist point of view because the two points of view contradict each other. The point of view that God is evil and hateful, and then the point of view that there is no God, contradict themselves. And he implies both of these points. He implies a huge contradiction.
Are you all ready for me to knock one out of the park with this one? Here we go. I believe that Hans Gruber from the movie Die Hard is evil. And I also believe that he does not exist. I believe that Dr. Hannibal Lecter from Silence of the Lambs is evil. And I also believe that he does not exist. I believe that the Joker is evil and does not exist. I believe that Emperor Palpatine is evil and kind of looks like the Pope, but he does not really exist. I believe that Skeletor is evil and he does not exist. Cruella de Vil from 101 Dalmatians is pretty evil, but she doesn't exist. Voldemort is evil, and he does not exist. Iago from Othello is probably what I consider to be one of the most evil characters in all of literature, and he does not exist. Sauron from Lord of the Rings is pretty fucking evil, but he does not exist. Now, I know what you're thinking, Inventor Gorilla. You're probably thinking, well, no one's ever considered those characters to be God. You know, there's a difference between those literary characters and what I consider to be God. You know, those are fictional characters that, so to avoid anyone getting really pissed off at this point, I'm not going to be talking about Vishnu or Allah when I call somebody evil and still maintain that they don't exist. I'm going to go for Zeus. Now, before Zeus in Greek mythology, there was Kronos, and Kronos was afraid that one of his sons would grow up to overthrow him. But at that point, Kronos was the supreme god, and he was eating his children to prevent any of them from overthrowing him, and I would call that pretty evil. But then, when Zeus finally did overthrow him, the Greeks got their little veritable trinity between Zeus and Hades and Poseidon, each having their portions of the world that they controlled, and then Zeus became known as the supreme out of all of the gods. But then Zeus did some pretty evil fucking things, like eating his first wife when he learned that any union between him and her would pretty much result in a god that would overthrow him. And the way that he chased after her, and when she didn't want to have anything to do with him, and she transformed into something else. He then hid himself by transforming in order to get her in a way that, it's hard for me to think that wasn't at least deceitful, if not a really strange magical form of rape. Then after eating his wife very evilly, what was that?
You're still awake?
I was making a video.
Did I just ruin it?
Yeah, you did.
That's a nice.
Yeah, here. Ruined my freaking video. Okay.
You're welcome.
So, to conclude, Zeus then, after his first wife, he went on to Hera, where, the way that I read the mythology, he became Hera didn't want him either. So he became a cuckoo bird and then flew to her, and she was like, oh, this little cuckoo bird. And then he turned into himself, and then he had her in his arms, and he ravished her, which to me is pretty much he raped her. Yeah, so he was a very evil, evil person. But I don't believe he exists. And at one point, people did think that Zeus was real, and they worshipped him, just like you worship your god, who is evil and does not exist.